So last night when Tim Pool was reading his super chats and the Eliza Bleu fiasco permutated. It came up to the top. It boiled up. And what any normal person would do would say something like this. Yes, we're aware of this. Yes, she was on the show twice. Yes, we didn't necessarily do our due diligence and investigate her past because we just assumed that, she was a trafficking victim. And when the story sort of didn't, make sense, pan out, didn't line up, we took action and, we hope for the best, but we have some guy out there researching it, and that's it. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because it's kind of beneath me. There's other stuff going on in the world. And normally, and I was a consistent viewer of his content. A lot of it was good. A lot of it was interesting. It was his opinion. It was somebody from, center left, and I'm definitely on the right. So I was going to hear a different perspective, if you will. So when he started, Tim Pool, when he started, I think for me what happened was when he blocked Jeremy from the Quartering on Twitter, I'm thinking to myself, I was like, wait a minute. Jeremy seems like a decent dude. He's more centered than usual. He's never steered me wrong. He hasn't, picked my pocket, burned my house down, ran off with the women. He's just a guy who just talks about stuff, pop culture stuff. And so when Brittany Venti, I know very, very little about her other than that she's on Chrissy Mayer's podcast. She does all sorts of other stuff. She just talks about stuff. When she just asked Eliza Bleu, which, by the way, Eliza Bleu was on Brittany Venti's podcast a couple times. I think Chrissy Mayer's as well. She got her account banned. She was just asking a question like, hey, can you talk about this? And it wasn't like, I demand answers now. And so, she got her, same thing with the Quartering, and, I'm pretty sure if you're already familiar with what was going on, what all went on. And what's funny is that when Tim Pool retorted last night, he called everybody out there that was talking about it, the Eliza Bleu thing, and why Tim Pool wasn't talking about it. He said, I don't know if, and I'm going to paraphrase here, he says we all are working for a PR firm to drudge up drama to amplify EB's, presence on the internet. And we're all culpable in that fact. We're all at fault for raising this. And and you know what? By the way, if you, like myself, who've unsubscribed to all his crap, I'm a paid PR. You see, this doesn't make sense. And he was very indignant about it last night. Very indignant. I'm glad I'm not going to watch his crap anymore. I felt that some of his interviews were good when he didn't speak a lot. Case in point, the Matt Gaetz interview. He was great because he had a bad voice and he didn't talk very much. Problem is, when Tim talks, he likes the sound of his own voice, and he thinks just by talking, he's going to sound intelligent. He's not. So he goes on to say that he doesn't care about Eliza Bleu. But by the way, she was on his Timcast IRL about a month ago, and one time before that, so that's twice. And he goes on to say, I don't care about her. I don't care. It's beneath me. Then why did you send some guy named Shane Cashman out there to interview her? Oh, I told him not to, but he can do what he wants. But aren't you his boss, technically? Or is he just a freelance? When you boil this down to its base components, its muons and quirks, Tim Pool says he doesn't care, but he does. But instead of just saying, yeah, we know about it and we just don't want to talk about it. We acknowledge it. Yeah, it happened. Instead of doing that, he went full on Jack Murphy, which is another thing that he refused to talk about, sort of referenced last night, that we all suck. We don't care about Eliza Bleu. Then why did you have her twice on your podcast? You obviously were talking about stuff. Talk about trafficking and all that. This goes beyond. This right here is a case study and a classic example of people who are on the left that try to, well, I'm not making them out as much money as I want to, so therefore I'm going to grift on the right. I'm going to say all the stuff that's base language. And then when people start investigating it, matter of fact, Brittany Vinny, she didn't even investigate it. She just noticed a pattern. She says, well, can you sort of explain this? And then she gets banned off Twitter. Well, she didn't get really bad. She got her account locked. She has to delete this tweet, and she refuses because if she gets sued, then they're going to ask, why did you delete the tweet if you didn't do anything wrong? So this is where we're at. You got people like Eliza Bleu who are grifting. And I'm not going to go into all of the stuff that I uncovered. Most of this information is right out in the open. I didn't uncover really anything. It's just right there. It's like you open your door, you go outside, and you're like, there's the lawn, there's my car, there's the mailbox. It's all right there. But since she was saying the right, correct things, anti-leftism, anti-SJW stuff, we just sort of gave her a pass. Now, I never knew anything about this woman. The thing is that I saw her pop up on Twitter every once in a while. It says Eliza Bleu, and she had blue hair. And I was like, nope, that's a leftist. Anybody with blue hair? Nope, leftist. And then what happens? People started investigating how she became where she is today. How does she have all this power? Is she tied to the FBI in some sort of way? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe. I have no idea. Who's running her? Maybe it's Department of Homeland Security. Maybe. I don't know. And she always says that she was a victim advocate or a trafficking advocate. What the F is that? What is that? You could say you're a trafficking advocate. You could say I'm a trafficking advocate. Against it, by the way. I'm not for trafficking of humans. That's terrible. But you got to ask yourself this, one important question. So you have this woman out there who no one knew really how old she was, and it ebbs and flows. Technically, we think, I say we, but people out there looking at her, there's a lot of stuff out there, and I'm not going to go too far into it, but you can find it if you really want to look. That she was on some sort of escort site, if you will, allegedly, of course, and her age is there, and it keeps populating, so she's 41. 41. 41, that stupid lavender crap on her head. Now she's saying she's a Christian. Red flags are just going everywhere. You got some referee on the field just going, red flags, just throwing up in the air. And all people wanted out there who were fans, or former fans now, of Tim Pool, was that hey, can you at least look into this? This seems sort of, I don't know, if you're on the side of free speech, and she said she is, and Tim Pool always says, I'm on the side of free speech, and holding truth to power, what does Tim do? It's not important to me. You're all working for a PR firm. What the hell are you talking about? And I think this goes down to, I guess I'm going to go into conclusion here because we don't need to go too far. But I think what this ultimately boils down to its base form is that when somebody who's perceived, who's on the left and then comes over to the right and starts saying a lot of stuff that you may agree with, we probably need to pump the brakes a little bit and do a little research on where this person came from. Why are they on the right? Because I am to the conclusion here and thought process that anybody who's on the left who gets a red pill moment, comes over to the right. We need to vet these people like they're the enemy. Like we're inviting somebody into your house that they're going to stay and live, but you don't know where they came from. So you do a background check on them. Then you start going through a list of stuff. You're like, oh, look at this. You said you're a anti-trafficking advocate, but yet you were allegedly work for spicy websites. Okay. You've attacked people for questioning basic tenets of your story. Okay. Nope. Gone. Right then and there. And that's all we wanted Tim Pool to do. He's an investigative journalist. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. He didn't even want to do that. He's got a whole crew of people out there that could investigate all of this. I don't want to investigate it because it's drama. I don't get into drama. Oh! You don't get into drama there, Timmy Pool? Well, let's kind of look back. You talked about some Twitch streamer who looked at AI-generated prawn, and you talked about it. You talked about many things just like this before. But no, not this. No. We don't care about her. Go fuck yourself, Tim, you piece of shit.